We've all pretty much heard that 50% of marriages end in divorce, but what about those that don't?
Well, some couples are taking an unconventional approach to making their marriages work. They're rewriting the rules of marriage so they can live happily ever after. After 28 years of marriage, Lise and Emil Stossel are still very much in love.
The roses are coming back.
And they do it all here and here. And here, too. That's because
We've been living separately for 5 years.
after years of a conventional marriage, they hit a rut. But
I realized that I still loved him.
they found a way to make it work separately, 5 miles away from each other.
It's not just about you getting your own little needs met, it's about creating something really powerful.
Psychologist Phyllis Koch-Sheras says couples need to stop focusing on the rules and focus on themselves. And she says she has the key to long-lasting love.
The couple power model involves 4 C's, and they need to be in this order for it to work.
She should know. Meet Peter.
We've been together for 37 years.
So together they put their secret in this book, and they are tossing out the main rule of conventional marriage.
We put communication third, and they learn how to use that as a club. They just convince each other they shouldn't be married.
Commitment is number 1, followed by cooperation. Create a statement about your relationship so you are reminded why you're in this journey.
What's your vision for your relationship 5 years from now?
Finally, community. Share it with other couples.
If there's a secret, it's to keep that love alive by keeping the fun alive.
In sickness and health, till convention do you part? It's your choice. And the Center for Divorce Education reports more than half of already divorced people say they wish they and their spouse had worked harder to save their marriage and their money.
So, married but living apart is certainly a different way of living. Perhaps it's something you'd never even thought about, but now that you've heard more about it, you might be thinking about it.
Joining us today to tell us more is Scott Spate with Achieve Success Coaching. Scott, welcome to the show this afternoon. First of all, it's surprising to me, but it's not anything new. I mean, this happens.
It does happen, and people find that some things work for them and don't work for others. And sometimes, you know, people like that commonality, and they want to stay together and they want to stay in, but sometimes people get to a point where they just need to do some things a little bit different, but they still have that commitment that they wanted to make, and they just find an unconventional way to make it work. And I think the way society has gone today, a lot of things are unconventional.
Yeah.
Okay, so census data is showing us that more seniors are choosing to live alone. What's your take on that?
You know, it's kind of unusual, but I think that now, later in life, more and more people are waiting longer to get married. I think statistics show people in their early 30s, mid 30s, or before they're getting married, and it's just continuing on. And so when people get divorced, or if their spouse dies at some point in the marriage, they find that they would much rather to live alone and stay alone. And it's so hard out there on the dating sites and the dating world that people just don't want to put forth the effort anymore.
Now, there's a lot of traditionalists, and some of them may look down on this, but if it's working for the couple and their family, so be it?
Absolutely. What works for one may not work for somebody else, and I think that's what makes the world go round.
It's not a black and white world anymore,
It's no longer, is it?
No.
So what kind of advice would you give somebody that's wanting to make a big change in their life, whether it's professional or personal?
Well, the first thing I would say is that I tell all my clients is face your fears. So many people, change is such a fearful thing. Nobody wants to change because there's all these different things that go on when you've got to change. There's the fear of success, fear of failure, fear of disappointing others. But I think you've got to face your fears, and you've got to do what's right for you. And once you start to make those changes in your life, you'll find that you start to get out of that rut that you get in. And you may find that you're a little bit more happy when you make those changes.
And sometimes the hardest step is the first step, and that's where you come in. You help people kind of get unstuck.
Absolutely. One of the things that I do is help them to realize what their fears are. Once they begin to face those fears and they make that first step, and they realize that there's a much better world out there for them and they can do something different, and as they start to make that move, it gets easier as they go along.
And it's not therapy. It's coaching.
Right.
How would you explain that?
Well, therapy kind of looks at today and backwards. And while therapy is wonderful, coaching says, let's look today forward. And coaching will get somebody to today, but they really have a hard time getting somebody to the next 5 years. And a lot of times people have a hard time. It's so easy to look at the past, it's so easy to look at the negative, and they don't understand how to realize that there's far more in the future, but they don't realize their dreams and can't realize their dreams. And so one of the things that I do is I help them to figure out what they're passionate about.
And you have a seminar to address all of this coming up. Tell us about that.
I do, on November 3rd, right next door at Legacy Restaurant, from 9 to 2. It's $59 a person, $88.50 for 2 people. Price includes lunch, so the second person gets to go half price. It's called Change Your Focus, Change Your Life. And one of the things that I help people do is to figure out what they're passionate about. I love the word passion because if you're not passionate about something, you're just kind of sitting still. And we'll spend that day helping people to realize what they're passionate about, helping people to realize a breakthrough in their life. I'll help somebody to understand, figure out what their purpose is in life, because that's so important. We're all born with a purpose, we're all born with a dream. And once we realize what our purpose is, then we can begin to move forward.
All right, Change Your Focus, Change Your Life, happening November 3rd, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Legacy Restaurant in Salisbury. And of course, if you want some more information, there's the number 443-523-7551.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a very interesting seminar for sure.
It will be, and it's open to all ages and all people from all walks of life. And,
Scott, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, and if you would like more information on Achieve Success Coaching, including more details on the upcoming seminar, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab.
Well, still to come on Delmarva Life, are you confused about credit? It's really simple. You need high numbers for low rate loans. How do you get the numbers, though, where you need them? We're going to take a look.
And later, barbershop music, it's like an American art form. And this weekend, it'll be celebrated in Ocean City. We'll tell you how you can see the show. Plus, hear more from one of the top quartets, Frank the Dog.
That you deserve. And so while there's a fighting chance